I'm in Lisbon for a few days to run the Lisbon Marathon, which might take me a few days, and I thought I'd take you along so you can enjoy the glory that is carb loading, the horror that is the race, and the brilliance that is the drinking afterwards. We arrived last night, went for a little bit of breakfast this morning, got a lovely little bit of brunch, nice little acai bowl I had, and some ham and cheese croissant that was a lot nicer than it sounded like it was going to be. But now we've gone on the metro, headed out to the sort of edge of the centre by the water to go and pick up our race numbers for Sunday. So I've been to the race expo and picked up my race number, Jay's race number, and a few friends that are arriving over the next few days' race numbers. I also bought some energy gels for the race that I've never had before, and some new socks. They say you shouldn't ever test out new stuff on marathon days, and do you know why they say that? Because they're pussies. After completing our pre-race admin, it was time to start carb loading ahead of the race. Pasta is a staple of the carb loading life. So with 48 hours to go, well, under 48 hours to go till the start of the race, we're gonna get our first pasta intake. I think there's a nice Italian restaurant just down here. We're in the Santa Cruz area of Lisbon. Don't know a lot about it. It's supposed to be quite nice. Let's find out. Absolutely classic carb loading choice there. Pasta, tomato-y sauce. Don't want it to be too creamy. Just brilliant. Yeah, great start to the 48-hour carb loading period. After lunch, we headed back to the Alfama area where we were staying. As the sun beat down on the hills of Lisbon, the enormity of what we had in store began to hit. This is 1:18. I'll probably still be running at this time on Sunday, and it's like 29 degrees. It's so hot. It's going to be so unpleasant. I'm just not. I said in poo. And yeah, I'm just not happy. Our walk home was probably a bit too hilly considering we were trying to take it easy, so I got back to the flat and had a little sleep. Had a little doze, and now we're heading off out to get a little bit more carbs in. All about the carbs. A lot more touristy than last time I was here in Lisbon. Obviously it's a big city and there's lots of tourists, but it's just full of like cruise ship groups and other people. I mean, to be fair, I've not been here since 2006, so a lot's changed, but it feels, I hear a lot more English speaking voices and a lot less Portuguese. Make of that what you will. One thing that can't rest, however, is carb loading. So we went to a tapas joint to grab some patatas bravas, then explored a little. Had a little wander around, and now we're going to go down and meet our friends Ross and Steve are doing the half marathon. Because they're only doing the half marathon, they're drinking booze. But I'm not working. I'm not gonna do that till after the race. It's a much more pleasant place, by the way. Is that Alfama where we're staying in, sort of touristy bit. Once the cruise ship people go in the evening and that, it's a lot quieter and more pleasant, I think. Hi gang, how we doing?
How we going, alright?
Good, thank you.
Hello.
Our gang went for more tapas at a lovely restaurant called Santa. Great food, but not as carby as we'd have liked, so we headed off to bed to get some rest. It's Saturday, day before the marathon, and we want to try and avoid all the hills of Lisbon. I had a good sleep last night, but my legs, I think from going up and down the hill, I can feel a little bit of tightness in the sort of calves and wherever the bit of the front, the shin of your leg is. So we're going to go jump on a train, head out to the sea, and I brought my shorts on, might even go in the water. Sun cream's not rubbed in though. Cascais is where the Lisbon Marathon starts. It's also a lovely little town with great beaches and is only a 45-minute train journey away. After a little look around, I headed down to the beach to relax my legs in the water. the Cascade. Ooh, up in warmer places. It's where the marathon starts, along the coast, and it's sorry, a bit cold. It's a nice little seaside resort, to be honest. Kind of wish we'd stayed here. It's lovely. Definitely come back at some point. Ooh. But yeah, up in warmer seas. The water was fine once I got used to it and was full of tiny fishes. If I was to do the marathon again, I think I'd probably stay in Cascais. I'm thinking it might be a lovely place to take the family for a little mini break. After I dried off, it was time for more pasta at a place called Mozzafiato. It was lovely, and I was starting to feel more confident about the race. We headed back to Lisbon and gave Ross and Steve their race packs. Ross in particular loved his free gift. As the sun set, it was time for one last burst of pasta, and our final athlete, Jim, turned up and promptly started drinking. This wasn't the best meal I've ever had, but it was carbs, and that's all that matters. So I've done all the carb loading I can, got everything laid out for tomorrow, ready to go. Just hopefully get a good night's sleep, and then up at 5, out the door by 5:30. It'll be alright, it'll be fine. Or at least, that was the plan. It is 5 AM. A bit earlier than you thought leaving, Robbie. Why is that? Well, about 9:30 last night, we got an email from the marathon organisers. And I wouldn't have seen it. I was already in bed, but Jim, who's doing the half marathon with us, spotted it, saying they were moving the start time an hour earlier because of the heat, which I get, and we were saying it'd be better if it started an hour earlier during the week, but the weather forecast hasn't changed for a week, so why are you doing it at 9:30 at night? They've also changed the cut-off time, the bit where you have to finish the marathon by, from 6 hours to 5 hours, and there'd be a lot of people who've worked hard and trained and who aren't going to finish it in 6 hours, and they're going to either found out last night or woke up in the morning, realised they've got to rush to the start line and finish a marathon quicker. I know why they've done it. They've done it because they think that they want people to not be running at peak sunshine times. But what they're instead going to be asking people to do is to run quicker than perhaps they're comfortable with. So rather than saying take it easy, take it slow and get around, then go as fast as you physically can to get through within 5 hours. So not massively impressed by the organisation. We'll see how it plays out, but I don't think it's going to be a great day. Anyway, onwards. Okay, made it here. The train wasn't particularly pleasant. It's time to drop the bag off, and that means the camera as well. I might film a little bit on my phone as well. And you can go away for a bit while I run this horrific race. I ate a bit in, feeling good. But just when you're feeling good, there's a guy beating me. He's running with a pineapple in his head. It's in perspective, isn't it? Halfway there, it's going all right. Right hips give me a bit of jip. Left knee's a little niggly. My nipples hurt. But so far not too bad. We know it gets worse. See you in a bit. Just past 32 kilometres. So 10 left. It's the best I've ever felt at this stage of the marathon. Everything's going well. I mean, I feel absolutely rank. Like horrendous, but better than normal horrendous. One track, my aim is to get under 5 hours, which I've already done once before. On track for that if nothing goes wrong. I can see Lisbon. So done. My aim was to finish in under 5 hours, and I managed it by a couple of minutes, but it was so hot towards the end. It's the best I've felt after a marathon because I've trained really well, So a lot of the time normally I'm feeling like I can't do this, but I never felt that. I felt it was hard and unpleasant, but I never felt I wasn't going to finish. I was in a lot of trouble. Yeah, so it was great. It's a lovely course. I'll give you a quick review now. Absolutely lovely course. Beautiful surround. You do a little loop at the beginning and then you just follow the coast all the way into Lisbon. You have to get the train out, then follow route back into Lisbon, which is lovely because you're not doubling back on yourself much apart from the beginning. Organisation, it's where it lets itself down, I think. The debacle over the start time was mad. What it meant was loads of people were turning up late, so at the start some of the faster people are sort of sprinting past everyone else, which is quite dangerous. You always have people like running in front of your toes and stuff and nearly tripping you up, so that wasn't great. And it's not like the weather forecast has changed anytime, so yeah, not great. Good in terms of like water and hydration and bananas and stuff like that all the way around. Not enough medics. I saw a lot of people in real trouble and there wasn't much. There's the odd ambulance around and there was a couple of tents, one and a half away and one about 37 for dealing with cramp. But there's one guy I saw who had at least 12 kilometers to go and he was just couldn't move with cramp. And I had that in Valencia and there were people around just give you a little spray and on you go. But there just wasn't much of that, which is a shame because it could be a brilliant marathon. It's probably my favourite course I've done, but yeah, that's the review of that. Now let's go and get a drink. How are we doing, athletes? 1, 2, they've got everyone, all survived. So with the race run, we went out for a number of celebratory drinks, including a weird amount of pina coladas. So what are my thoughts 5 days later? Positive. I mean, despite all the organisational mess, I loved the course, I loved the city, I loved Cascade. I think it was a really enjoyable place to run. The weather wasn't their fault, just as I mentioned, the organisation could have been a bit better. I'd recommend it to people. I think it was a good marathon. My personal performance, and specifically the way I stuck to the training plan and didn't slack at any point, has been inspiring for me, and it makes me want to do another marathon in the spring, and this time not just do the physical running element of the training, but stick to the nutrition side of things and work on flexibility and everything else, and generally just become the greatest athlete I can possibly be and try and break my PB of 4 hours 25. So there's going to be some more marathon content probably in the spring, and in the meantime some personal development content around food and just general fitness stuff. So hopefully you like that. If you don't, just don't watch it. Cheers for watching. Back soon.